Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy
Hello.
Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Turkey Day or Pizza Day or Chinese food day, however you're celebrating.
And to those people who are not living in the US, it's a regular day. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your day. There's really no such thing as a regular day.
No such thing.
So, what is happening in your household today?
In mine, so I'm still enjoying my coffee. My 9-year-old daughter.
Let's stop for a moment. Let's enjoy our coffee.
Let's enjoy our coffee together.
Boop.
Boop.
In our Becoming Radiant mugs, which you can get at tomzuba.com. Hey.
And
do you put anything in your coffee?
Well, I do almond milk and a little splash. I was doing the protein powder, but I ran out because we're in quarantine and I'm not able to shop like I would normally do. So I have like the not so great healthy for you hazelnut creamer, which tastes delicious.
I know. So let's be honest. Let's be honest. When you put the almond milk in, do you buy flavored almond milk or just regular almond milk?
No, I get the low cal. If I can find it, I get the 30-calorie almond milk, but I always go with vanilla.
Okay, because doesn't almond milk just taste like white water?
I actually like it, but I do like a lot of people don't like the taste of dairy milk, of cow milk, but I do enjoy it. But then I do a little splash to maybe if I just did that, it wouldn't be as fulfilling. But when I do my little splash of hazelnut, it's a good thing.
Yeah, I need to have some rich something in here. And what I'm doing is I drink Quest protein powder. It's not a protein powder. It's like Quest protein drink. They call it a protein shake. And it comes in chocolate, which is spectacular. That's what I have in here now. And then there's it's like toasted caramel. Oh my God, I couldn't find it in the store. That's my all-time favorite. So it's healthy. It's protein and minimal sugar. It makes me feel good and excited to get up in the morning.
It makes me feel good. I always look forward to my coffee. And then I like to have it in a special mug that makes me feel like I'm also taking care of me. So it's self-care. And then I do the healthy almond milk and then a healthy little splash of something for me. Yeah.
Okay, so what have you done so far today on this Thanksgiving morning?
So I woke up and laying in bed, I sleep with my lily pad. My daughter.
Not a real lily pad.
No. My Lily, who's 9, who's probably in the other room because she can hear everything in our tiny house, is like, don't call me that.
Yes, and she's like, don't talk about me. Don't talk about. So we'll refer to her as LP. Let's just refer to her as LP.
LP. I love that. She will appreciate that as well. And our dog's snoring at the foot of the bed. And I woke up and I went through the list of what I'm grateful for. And I would not have been able to do that a few years ago. But with your help, with the guidance of a lot of beautiful souls, I went through the list of things that I'm grateful for. And that's my prayer, my meditation. I talk to my Olivia, I talk to my God and my ancestors, and I call them all in, and I'm so grateful. And this Thanksgiving is different for us because Lily tested positive last week for the virus. I still somehow tested negative. I don't know how that works, but I'm trusting that test is accurate. However, I'm still being very, very cautious. Lily and I are quarantining together. And I'm just so grateful for this time out, this time together when it's just us. Lily and I and our dog Faith, and our Faith and our Olivia that's always around us. And I went through the list of things that I'm grateful for before I even got out of bed, and like my feet touched the cold hardwood floor. Like, like when you're under your comforter and you're like, oh, the alarm went off, but am I really ready? But then I'm thinking about my coffee that I get to enjoy. And it was beautiful. It brought tears to my eyes that I'm grateful today. And I never thought that I would be grateful for another day. A few
So
years.
there are people that are watching live or will watch the recording who are living with the death of a child, like both of us, are living with the death of a spouse, like me, are living with the death of a sibling, like me, are living with the death of a parent, like me, and are thinking, oh no, oh no, oh no. This is the first year for us. This is the 5th year for us. No way, no way. I will never wake up in the morning being grateful for anything, really. What would you, and I understand that. I mean, I really,
Absolutely.
really understand that. But what would you say to them?
I would say it's a choice. Happiness is something I used to think would just naturally come to me. If I achieve this, if I get this, I will be happy. If this happens to me, I will be happy. But I have learned that happiness is a mindset. Gratitude is a mindset. I can choose to be grateful for the things that are, or I can sit in lack, and I can sit in, and I do that on occasion. I'm human. I will throw the biggest pity party of one. I will throw the biggest pity party at times when I seep in it. But growth and heal, and I think that's important to honor the other portion of it, that's the reality of it, because we can't always look to the bright side. That's not reality. It's for me, for my truth anyway, it's not. Sometimes I have to feel it all. I have to feel the anger again. I have to be mad at God all over again. I have to be mad at the medical system and, in myself. But when I choose to make the conscious decision to be happy, to be grateful, and it's a choice, that is where my healing takes place and where it grows.
Remind people again how long ago Olivia left her physical body.
So my most beloved daughter left this planet on April 3rd, 2017.
So is this your 3rd Thanksgiving with her not physically here?
This is.
Wow, that's not that long. Do you remember last Thanksgiving?
It's funny because what my memory serves and what my family's memory is totally different. I thought that Lily and I kind of did it alone, but I was reminded, and that's what grief does. Grief kind of muddles the memory a little bit. So we were actually together, but it was a smaller group. And I only had Lily for part of the day because also part of my reality is I'm a single parent, and Lily spends half of the holidays with her father. So that's kind of an additional layer of a challenge as well. But we were together. We did have a family dinner last year. It was small, but it's amazing that grief does kind of cloud your memory a little bit. Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing. I think that's a blessing that we don't really remember blow by blow by blow.
Yeah.
And based on my experience, the stories that we tell ourselves about the past are usually more painful and more complicated and more chaotic than the reality. How do I know that? as I shared with you the other day, I have journal after journal after journal after journal. I just found 3 journals. One was, it's the fall of 98, right before Trish died. So I'm literally reading what I'm feeling like, what I'm concerned about, what I'm grateful for in the days leading up to my wife's explosive death. It was a gift. It was a gift. There's so much of that I don't remember. This is something that I want to share with folks. If this is your first Thanksgiving, if you are paralyzed with sadness, maybe with fear, with anger, you're feeling lonely, as odd as this may seem, welcome it. Welcome it. You are not doing anything wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. Someone that you love dearly died. Somebody died. And the message that we get from our family, from our friends, from society is after about, 7 to 10 days, it just ain't that big of a deal. We're moving on. You should move on. Maybe you should have another baby. Maybe you should start dating. Maybe you could get a puppy. Maybe you should start drinking. But it's time to move on. It's time to move on. So the message that we get is, well, they don't think it's that big of a deal. It's a fucking huge deal. It's a fucking huge deal that somebody that we wrapped our arms around, or somebody that we carried in our womb that was never born alive, somebody that we had hopes and dreams and plans. We had plans, people, we had plans. Vanished. So whatever it is you're going through, it's normal. I promise you, it's normal. It's okay. This is what I have to offer you. Can you hold wherever you are with kindness? Can you add kindness to yourself to the mix? Or can you add gentleness? Or can you add compassion for you? Pick one of those things, and then you add a layer. It's not just, I feel sad. It's not just, I'm bitter, or I'm angry, or I'm lonely, or I'm alone. It's now, I'm a gentle person who's experiencing this. I'm a kind person who's experiencing this. I'm a loving, compassionate, whatever. Why do we want to do that? Like energy attracts like energy. And when I marinate in lack and fear and loneliness and victimhood, I am sorry to share this with y'all, but I attract more of that into my life. So I create this vicious circle where I'm spiraling down. And I think that life is happening to me. When the truth of the matter is, I know this is revolutionary, but I did write a book and the subtitle is A New Way to Do Grief. Life is happening for us. And as you said, a doorway or a staircase or a path that we can take to pull ourselves out of lack, to pull ourselves out of fear, is gratitude. It's gratitude. I'm looking at your surroundings. You have a beautiful Christmas tree. Something to be grateful for. I see a sofa something to be grateful for. I see coordinated throw pillows, something to be grateful for. You have a ceiling fan, something to be grateful for. You have really pretty drapes, something to be grateful for. Start wherever you are. Start wherever you are. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude is a path, is a door we can enter to abundance, to shifting our life, really.
Absolutely, feeling all of it, being grateful that we can see those things, being grateful that we have one loved one beside us to hold at night, to wish good morning, that we have technology that even if we are alone in a house, we can pick up the phone, we can connect via social media, that we are connected, that we have that ability to connect. Because what an amazing time it is where we can connect with like-minded, kindred spirit souls all across the planet.
And one of the opportunities to connect later today is at 4 p.m. Central. We are going to host on Zoom, about a 20-minute, really, really beautiful candle lighting ceremony where we're going to stop. We're going to gather. We are going to share photos of our loved ones. We are going to say their names in community. Why? Because the energy of the group is so much more powerful than any one of us individually. And we weren't supposed to do this alone. We weren't supposed to do this great thing alone. Absolutely. So if you would like to join us, you have to go to my website, which is tomzuba.com, and you have to subscribe to my newsletter. I'm going to send the link out at about 2 p.m. Central. That'll give folks 2 hours. If you want to share the link with people in your family, if you know a widow, a widower, parents whose child or children have died, anybody, if you know anybody that's alone or that's not alone and would like to be in community today on Thanksgiving, to pause and to say thank you. I'm glad you came. Thank you. I'm glad you came. Join us. Join us, join us, join us. Go to tomzuba.com, subscribe to my newsletter. So I want to share 2 things, actually. Later today on both of my Facebook pages, I'm going to share 2 very, very, very different Thanksgiving experiences. One is my daughter died on July 18th of 1990. So Aaron died in the middle of the summer. And I desperately wanted to have another baby immediately. I wanted to throw conventional wisdom out the window that said you have to wait a year to make a major decision. I was like, hell no, I'm not waiting a year. I love being a family. I want a baby. I want a baby. I want a baby. That first Thanksgiving morning, Aaron died in July. So it's August, September, October, November. It is a little more than 4 months after the explosive, chaotic, unimaginable, unpredictable, confusing death of my 18-month-old, who was sick on a Friday and died on a Wednesday, after we were told they knew exactly what she had and she would get better. We were told that Wednesday morning, and at 5:10 p.m. Wednesday, she's dead. So that first Thanksgiving, Trish, my wife, took the early pregnancy test and she found out she was pregnant. That first Thanksgiving after our daughter died, I can feel it in my body right now. I mean, what a beautiful, beautiful gift from Aaron, from God, from God, from the universe saying, life isn't done with you.
Yeah.
Life isn't done with you. Take the next step. Take the next step. Take the next step. Take the next step. So I'm going to write more about that. And fast forward, that little boy that was due on July 18th, the anniversary of his sister's death, who actually came to the planet on July 24th, when he was 13 and a half, he was diagnosed with a terminal brain cancer, a glioblastoma. In early November, they opened his head, they removed his left temporal lobe and as much of the cancerous jello-y matter that they could, knowing they couldn't get it all. He had a stroke during surgery. So they sent us to the Rehab Institute of Chicago. And Mary Schmeek, who's a columnist with Chicago Tribune and who knew my wife Trish professionally, she came and visited us at the rehab center. And she wrote a beautiful, beautiful article about our experience. And at the end of it, she quoted me because she had said, "What are you hoping for Thanksgiving this year? What are you hoping for?" And we got to go home the day before Thanksgiving that year, 2004. My son has a terminal brain cancer, which means he's going to die. We got to go home the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Mary Schmeek asked me, "What are you thankful for?" And I remember saying, I've never left the hospital with a living human being. I took my daughter in an ambulance to the hospital and she died. I took my wife in an ambulance to the hospital and she died. I had taken my son Rory in an ambulance to the hospital multiple times. He was still alive. He was still alive. That was my Thanksgiving present. That was my Thanksgiving present. There's always something to be grateful for. There is always, always, always something to be grateful for.
How incredible that was your gratitude prayer. In the grand scope of things, where people can't understand that level of grief, that is what you were grateful for.
I don't want people to have to understand that. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. That's why I wrote not one, not two, but 2.5 books, so that people don't have to suffer the way that I suffered.
Yeah.
And you're a perfect example of taking the knowledge, taking the wisdom, taking the tools, and 3 years after your beautiful daughter's transition, you woke up happy today, excited today, grateful today.
Crying tears of joy today. So grateful to be alive and to have these gifts and to know that she is perfectly safe, which is what most parents want for their children.
Absolutely.
And I believe with all of my heart that she is with the divine and she is safe and loved and protected. And I'm grateful for that.
There's a new way. There's a new way to do this thing called grief, which creates a new way to do life. So I'm excited that you have a friend that we're going to bring on. Give like a 2 or 3 sentence intro before we bring Linnell on.
This beautiful soul, Linnell, so I met her in Cleveland, Ohio, when Olivia was being seen by the top specialist in her field for her particular type of cancer, Ewing sarcoma. And immediately I knew that Linnell was not of this earth. Of course, she was born here. She's in this human body, but she is something so brilliant and so loving. And her journey is amazing. And to hear a little bit of her story it's amazing. And I am so lucky to call her one of my very, very friends. This human body, but
Welcome, Linnell.
hello. Can you hear us?
I'm listening to your beautiful words and I just
Oh, there you are.
beyond. Let me turn my volume.
My soul sister. Let me find as I'm technology deficient, how to figure out how we can get us all on the same screen.
We're
Okay.
learning, just like the folks at CNN and MSNBC. We're learning, we're learning, we're
This
learning.
is real life.
Can everybody see everybody?
Yeah.
I can't
yeah.
see everybody, but
Jessica, there's an icon in the left-hand corner for me. It says switch. I can
okay.
determine. Can you see us all?
Sorry.
Yay.
Love you, Mom, but yeah. My mom.
So Linnell, where are you? Where do you live? You're not still in Cleveland.
I'm in Bay Village, which is just right outside of Cleveland.
Okay.
But
So take it away, Jessica.
So, Linnell, my most beautiful soul sister,
oh my gosh.
I love you so much. Thank you so much for being here on this
I feel
Thanksgiving.
gifted.
We are gifted. Tom and I are gifted. Everybody that is watching live and that's going to watch later, we're so gifted with the light and the beauty that is you. So we were, and I say fortunate enough, we were fortunate enough to meet you at the Cleveland Clinic when Olivia was undergoing treatment with Dr. Anderson and your amazing team. And you fulfilled that role and then so much above and beyond that. And I know that your role has expanded since then. So do you feel comfortable in talking to us about like what you did and what you do and
yeah, it's one of those things I can go back so long ago and feel where this journey was taking me, but you kind of give it to God as like, it's your timing and when you feel I'm ready for these things. So when I met Olivia, I was in oncology at the time, and just I have this thing when I take care of anyone, no matter when I started nursing, that you have to be, and this is kind of universal, is being in the space with that family, loved one, child, and you meet them in their space, and so I remember meeting her and, her fear a little bit, because I think for her, I was a nurse, her port, if you recall. And so we developed this trust that I was like, no, take as long as you want. And it was making it about her journey. And so fast forward, like we just developed this trust, this bond. You trusted we're so open to like energetically that divine, so grateful for the gift giving that I've been given to touch people. So even at her death, the day of her death, I remember saying goodbye to her Friday before I left work, but I just had this sense. And so when you called me Sunday, just being with her beautiful body and spirit as it was transitioning over, and being with you, and I think that was the start of really knowing that my journey was shifting to more helping people. How do you see the beauty in death? And when you can do that at the start, it helps the grieving, I feel like, after. And I found it. So now I do pediatric hospice work right now, but it's all transitioning into doing this on a bigger scale, and because everybody needs it. And I think about the energy work I do as well. And if you think about how many things we die off in our life daily, like a job, a career, a love, you know, and we forget that those are deaths. And it's also learning how to grieve through those. So grief is incredibly huge. And if we could see the beauty and love in each of those things, it's a tremendous healing all the way, and compassion. So I could talk about this in 25 different segments, but ultimately with her, it was like you trusted in what I was feeling. I mean, if you're okay with me sharing, like
Absolutely share.
Let me just back up a little bit, because there are people that are watching. You said two words that some people don't even know they go together, and those words are energy work. Energy work. Give us a sense for what it is you're talking about for those folks that might not know.
Yes. So I have to give grace for me when I say this, like we all have this energy within us. And I always tell people, soul, spirit, if you're very scientific, you can go to a space that there really is this energy that exists in us, whether you don't see a soul or a spirit. But for me, I can feel that within everybody. And I feel almost like a conduit and a vessel. So it's like I trust in whatever's coming through to give to someone. So touching, feeling, healing in the transition of death, but also in these deaths within life. So in the energy work, it's when you're helping a body transition or a soul transition, you're trying to help it with peace and light. And so it's, you know, there is fear even with kids and all walks, you know, when you're transitioning, it's like, oh wait, I know it's going to be really beautiful, but you know, and when you take that same sort of, when you take that even into life with a job, a career, a love, like I know this isn't good for me anymore, but I know, you know, so you help people energetically to sort of, you know, we have this flow within our body. So when you have blocks, or when I think of the energy work, I help heal blocks or heal layers so people can find their true light and connect with that light. And I do that work from afar with, you know, and right next to me. And I remember Olivia was my first person as well that I ever did a healing from afar. And she just had her the removal of her eye and this surgery. She was in the ICU. And I asked Jess if I could do it. She's like, yes, of course you can. And I could feel her and feel what she was feeling and take away some of that pressure and pain. And so Tom, in this work, it's like, it just sort of all came together. And you know, I just was trusting into it and what I was feeling and just giving it, you know, like, okay, wherever you're guiding me. And with Olivia, she was my first to where I was helping her transition. And I remember laying my hands on her, and she wasn't awake, but she was aware. And I remember my eyes were closed and they're on her, and Jess is to the left of her, holding her, lying next to her, and her grandmother was over here. Her dad's, I think it was her dad's mom.
Yeah.
And she was here, and my eyes were closed, and I'm connecting with her, and I see this long, beautiful hair. Now, Olivia had like short sort
chemo,
of.
right? Yeah, like chemo hair. Yeah.
Yeah. So she had this long brown hair and this yellow dress that reminded me of the dress Belle wears in Beauty and the Beast.
Yes.
And she's running in the hills, and she's smiling at me, and I could feel her. And it was my first real experience where I really saw, like, I've had kids come when they've passed, and seeing them, like, they're kind of like, you know, I'm good, I'm gone, you know, but this was like so vivid. And then as soon as her grandmother screamed and cried out, it was like a vacuum. And then it was like dark. And I remember opening my eyes, and her and I could talk with our eyes. And I remember looking at Jessica, and I was like,
Get her out.
I gotta talk to her. So I could talk to her, and I was like, I need to, you know, with love and grace, she's trying to go. So when she hears you and hears you cry out, it's like pulling her back, feeling like she's got to protect you. And so it was beautiful, because then the grandmother, you know, she kind of went out to take a break out there. So Olivia could just sort of settle a little bit. So that was my very first experience. So now doing this work more often, and especially with kids and their parents, I've been able to help the parents at the beginning and the children, especially teenagers, because it's very hard with teens because they're at the cusp of starting their life. So it's like suddenly someone's taken it all away from them. And so there's a lot of healing even with them, so that they're ready to let go. And then it allows the parents then, and it's beautiful. And I remember having a father, I was telling him, and I knew him from my oncology days, and I was telling him when I met him in hospice, I said, you know, he asked me what it was going to be like, and I said, it's really beautiful, you know, and you could be with them, and we'll do all this. And he told me about a week later when I went to see him, he goes, Linnell, I got to tell you, I thought you were a little crazy when you told me it was going to be beautiful. He goes, but it was everything you said it would be. And she was so peaceful. We got to be with her, and it was profound for me, because I just, you know, it's that, I guess, the ego side of all of us that is so human that comes for us. But it was beautiful to hear, like, and it allowed me to kind of go, okay, I'm doing what you've set me on this earth to do. And that sort of reminded me. And so
I have a million questions, and we don't have that much time, so we're going to bring you back. But let me ask you 2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
Do you use the word God?
So when someone asks me, I always tell them I have to honor where it comes from me. And I'll say God, the universe, source. And I say, I have to honor where it comes from me when I share it, but it may be different from you.
And if someone said to you, what is that? You know, what exactly is that? How would you respond?
So I have had that happen when someone asked me, like, how do you do this work? And I said, of course, it's very hard to put into words. There's a lot of trust with it. And I said, I can only show you and give you the beauty of the words that are coming through to give to you. I said, it's a very trusting flow. And most often it's just, you meet someone that they're like, okay. And it doesn't even take, even because I've had people skeptical, but sometimes it's just the words just come that connect to them. And I couldn't even tell you sometimes like what it's going to be, but somehow they just look at my eyes and they're okay, you know?
Yeah, Maya Angelou has a quote: people won't remember what you said, but they'll remember how they felt when they were in your presence. And I've been with you now for 12 minutes. And if my child was dying, if my spouse was dying, if my beloved was dying and I was in your presence, I would go, okay, all right, I'll follow you. I'll trust you. Okay.
Yeah.
So I do have, that was 1.5 questions. I have one more, and then I'm back to you, Jessica. So you work for a hospice?
So I know I'm transitioning. I feel like I was put in this space to help my coworkers. I realize so much where it's all directed, plus to be in this space as well, and to kind of like almost like reiterate, but I'm having this pull where God's like, thank you, you've done your work here. Now I need you to do this for everybody.
Yeah.
So
okay, so someone there at the hospice recognized you and said, yeah, we're going to bring this energy worker to our families. Who is that person that had the guts to do that?
well, it's interesting because it was very guided. I had Olivia, and then it was so loud, like, okay, you need to just do this now. So I reached out to them because I knew we worked with them, the oncology team worked with them. So I reached out to them, but I'll tell you, Tom, that first year, my light was different than what they were used to.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So with grace and love, because
As is mine.
so yeah, so for a little bit I was like, this is really where you put me? Like, but I realized I didn't change who I was. I stayed who I was, and I did hit a point where I was like, if this isn't where, because I think it was one of those things, I came in and there was such a separation. Well, this is the social worker, this is the nurse. You go in, it takes 45 minutes and you're out. I was like, oh boy, this isn't me. So what happened, I was going into, during orientation, I was going into these visits and I'd stay. And then my person was gone. And then these families were like, wait, can we switch to her? And I did. It was like, you really shouldn't be in there that long. This is your job, this is yours. And I go, oh, I'm so sorry, but that's not me. I said, I am a holistic, I'm there for their whole being and for your being, for their being, and mom, dad. I go, if this isn't where you feel like, if I don't fit in this space, I'll go. And they're like, no. So, it was one of those things where I know why I was put there, but now I'm at this pull where it's like, okay, you're done. Now go do this for the world. Now go give this.
What does that mean?
I'm feeling it out. And it's so funny because when she reached out, I was like, oh, well, okay. And it's like, I've feeling like in talking, educating, if someone reaches out and like, I want you to come just spend weeks as my child is dying or my loved one is dying, then I'm at a point in my life with my kids being older that I can do that and go, okay. And then teaching on a bigger scale and kind of giving the gift to people so that then they can give it, and the whole ripple effect. Because essentially, if we all sit back and we all have these gifts, and if we really gave them, we could see how this universe could just like light up. So I feel like that whole ripple, that I'd love to share this work wherever. I reached out to a place I did mission work at in Ecuador, and I reached out to them and I said, when I was there a year and a half ago, you had this first end of life space you were building, and I stood there and I'm like, okay, I'm coming back here. So I reached out and I said, would you be open to me coming there and talking to people about end of life and being with their loved ones? And she goes, oh my gosh, let me ask. And she said, came back and she goes, yes, can you come in April? I'm like, yes. I don't know what it'll look like. I don't, but I'm like, yes, yep, I will be there and I will do that. And I just, it just feels so natural to just do this for people,
And you are such a natural at it. And we're so blessed that you are a part of our story, and you will forever be a part of our story. When I prayed and I prayed and I prayed, my conventional prayers and my former belief system that has expanded, I prayed to God, God, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? And in walks Linnell.
Here I am. Here I am.
The face of God. And that is you. You are the very epitome of all of that. And you also you were the very first one. I had experienced a little bit of Reiki energy healing work. And I know it's called many different things as we've discussed.
Yeah.
Maybe more kind of fun. Would it be appropriate to say like fundamental Christians would say like laying of hands?
Yeah.
But God's energy, right?
Yeah.
When you were able to help Olivia transition more easily, and you were also able to communicate what she was feeling to us, and the dynamics of our family in that hospital room, and you were able to communicate what she was feeling and to make all of us feel so much more at peace. So if that is not the face of God, then I don't know what is. And that is you. You were a walking angel amongst us, which is how I think of you. And I see your bright, brilliant light that is so radiant. And it's so beautiful and empowering to see a person fulfilling their calling, what they're called here to do, their purpose.
Yeah.
And you are the very embodiment of that. You are answering that call and you are saying yes to all of it. And it's such a beautiful, and that doesn't even do it justice, the word beauty. It's such an incredible thing to see you fulfilling this most amazing purpose.
I always say that I feel the one gifted, but yeah. Sorry, Tom.
Linnell, what would you say your purpose is? Why, on Thanksgiving 2020, realizing that it evolves and we evolve, but today, why did you come to planet Earth?
I realize that it's truly to help heal people, connect them to their divine self within, and to heal. And I realize that is death, like I mentioned, like death is within our life, daily life. So helping people when I do the energy work to die away those layers and see their light so that they can follow. But then at end of life, helping them transition to see the beauty and having their loved ones seeing the beauty. And it's the most selfless thing I've always told these parents to be able to let go, is like the most selfless, loving thing you can do for them. And so I feel like my purpose that feels just so strong, it's like really just helping people transition from these deaths in life and at the end of life, and being with their breath. And that's a whole other, I do yoga with people, but it's really with your breath and connecting to that life force within you.
One of the things that's become clearer and clearer and clearer to me, to quote many of the great teachers, the point of power is now. This moment, this moment, this moment. I breathe in this moment. Life occurs in this moment. I can access my version of God in this moment. I can heal in this moment. I can access Olivia. I can access Rory, Trish, Aaron in this moment, in this moment, in this moment. I love what you said about all the deaths that we encounter on a daily basis.
Yeah.
To me, the invitation of the election in the US, of the pandemic, is to choose a new way to do life. That's the invitation to say, hey, I think I've suffered enough. I'm not going to live in the past. Yeah. And for God's sakes, I'm not going to reside in an unlived future.
Yes.
I'm going to stay here. I'm going to stay here. This is the point of power. This is the point of power. I define grief as the internal, automatic, learned response to the end of a dream. It's learned.
Yeah.
And I love what you're doing, that if I can be open to the truth that, hey, I didn't get that parking space that I wanted, and I really, really wanted it. And I'm experiencing a little bit of grief here because the story I'm telling myself is I should have gotten the parking space.
Yeah.
If I can deal with that in the present moment, I can learn. I think what you're doing is absolutely beautiful, so needed. And I'm proud of you, actually. I'm proud of you for being able to say, you know what, people, this is what I came here to do. And it's kind of gutsy to say I can do it, but you know what? I can do it.
Yeah.
I can do it. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. So I truly, truly believe that like energy attracts like energy. And when I first met Jessica, I was like, okay, there is a light inside of this woman that she cannot see because her daughter just died, but I can see it. So I got to work with her. I got to work with her. I got to work with her. And just earlier she said, oh, I hope you like Linnell. I'm like, come on, Jessica. I like absolutely everyone you've introduced me to because they're reflections of you.
Oh, she's a beautiful, like what she's done and come to is just amazing. But
So can we continue this conversation with you?
I would love that.
We have just begun to scratch the surface, and I want to talk about ways we can help you fulfill your mission here on planet Earth.
That sounds beautiful.
Love that. And I know that you're a healer in many sense. So do you feel comfortable sharing how people can reach you, how people can find you? Because you are, even though you are this angelic being, you also embody this life form in Cleveland or the Cleveland, Ohio area. Yeah. So how can people find you, reach you, connect with you?
I always say, honestly, the best way is email. I am because I love hearing people's stories. So sometimes it flows out of them just even then. And I love, and I can feel it through them from afar. So I would love to share my email and I could open the conversation there, but I love hearing people's stories even before our first connection, like what drew them to reach out to me. And there's something more connected and personal with it. So I'm so open to giving my email and then we just flow from there. And then if any work is needed near, far, I just try to help in any way I can.
Will you tell folks what your email is right now?
Yep. It's Linnell Christine. So if you see my name up there, LYNELLEKRISTINE@gmail.com. And let yourself flow. Whatever comes out, just let it. Yeah.
No coincidence. Go ahead, Jessica.
Oh, she is this real embodiment of, I mean, I call her the face of God. She is truly, she is an angel on earth, and so blessed to know her, so blessed to have her in my life and in our family's life, and she'll always be connected to us. And she's here in this this real life time, and we're so blessed to know you. So to be able to connect with you.
Well, and I thank you for trusting and allowing me in, because I feel like, and like you said, Tom, just sharing the conversation, a lot of times it's just that. It's like, Tom, you being brave enough to put this together to do, and it touches people, and it is that ripple effect and our life purpose and how we can help heal with our words and our stories. And yeah.
I believe that words have power. And the subtitle of my first book, which is Permission to Mourn, A New Way to Do Grief. A New Way to Do Grief. I had the audacity to title my second book, Becoming Radiant. Becoming Radiant. I have 2 dead kids and a dead wife. I'm becoming radiant. A new way to do life. So
that's beautiful.
There is a new way. The old way doesn't work. The old way doesn't work. And those of us that have learned a new way, it is our invitation to, as gently and as kindly, teach the new way, primarily by example, by the way we live our lives. Like I said earlier, people will not remember everything that we said, particularly people that are living with deep, deep grief. They won't remember what we said, but they'll remember how they felt when they were in our presence. They'll remember how. So this is how I would like to close. What is one thing that you're really, really grateful for, both of you? Take 10, 15 seconds. What is one thing that on this Thanksgiving of 2020, in the middle of an international pandemic, in the middle of this shit show of a presidential election, of this uprising of Black Lives Matter, that hopefully once and for all, white people will respond to from their heart? What are you thankful for?
I'm so thankful for my connections, for my grounding connections, for you, Tom and Linnell. If it hadn't been for this journey of grief and loss and pain, but so much beauty has come from it. I'm so grateful for the blessings in all of it, and for the people that God has brought divinely into my life. I don't believe in coincidences, and I'm so grateful for you both. I'm most grateful for.
So beautiful. I have to say, I'm so grateful for this journey. And I know that encompasses a lot, but I'm grateful for even the things that, like you said, kind of hurt along the way. But I'm so grateful for them because it never would have taken me here. And I'm grateful for the openness to hearing my call, and then that just encompasses so much, and then the people that I connect to, and the families and children, and my own children who just so are my biggest cheerleaders, my 3 kids, and they're like, go do you and they understand. And I have to be honest with that, it's helped them understand the beauty, grace, and love in life. So grateful. And to the people that, like you said, are brought along on your journey, I can't say enough.
So before I share, I'm actually going to share 2 things I'm grateful for. I want to remind folks that if you're alone today, or if you're not alone today, at 4 p.m. Central, we're going to do a Zoom gathering for about 20 minutes. We're going to light 4 candles. There's a beautiful prayer. We're going to say the names of our beloved, and we are going to bask in the collective healing energy.
It's beautiful.
If you would like to join us, go to tomzuba.com, subscribe to my newsletter. I'm going to send the Zoom link out one more time at about 2 p.m. Central. So this is the first thing that I'm thankful for. And if your death is recent, and recent can be a week, it can be 6 months, it can be 3 years, it can be 10 years, depending upon the healing work that you've done. If your beloved's death feels recent, if the pain today feels as intense or even worse than it did the day your beloved died, this is my message for you. I am so grateful. I am so grateful I didn't kill myself. I'm going to say that again. I am so grateful I didn't kill myself. And if you're like me, and if you're honest, I thought about it many times. On this Thanksgiving of 2020, I'm so grateful I didn't kill myself. Life is worth living. Life is worth living. I promise you. I promise you. Hold on, hold on, hold on. We were not meant to do this alone. We were not meant to do this alone. It's number one. Number two, like Linnell, my message to the world is new. It's different. It suggests that we are loved so much that life literally happens for us all the time, all the time. That is rooted in my understanding of my version of God. So I am eternally grateful. I am forever grateful for every single human being that leans in a little bit and goes, well, he's got 2 dead kids and he's got a dead wife and he looks kind of happy and he sounds kind of happy. So kind of crazy, but I'm going to lean in. I'm going to lean in. I'm going to lean in. It's like that scene from Harry Met Sally. It's like, whatever that guy's having, I'm going to have some too. I'm going to have some too. I am grateful, grateful, grateful. Take a step closer, take a step closer, take a step closer. We did not, I promise you, we did not come to the planet to suffer. That is not why we came. That is not why we came. We came to live these glorious, radiant lives. I am surrounded by 2 women who are choosing to say yes, who are choosing to connect with the light and the love that they are, that we are, that every single one of us is. So thank you, Linnell. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Take really, really good care of yourselves, and the conversation will continue.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate you
so
both.
much for coming on.
Thank you. Okay, happy